You may not know it, but you've been a prisoner to this social system. You spend over 80,000 hours of your life working for money, but no one has ever taught you how money actually works. Not in school, not at your job, and not in your family. And now you're here in your 30s, your 40s, maybe even your 50s, and you're wondering why financial freedom feels like a fantasy. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility to change that. They taught you algebra, but not how to budget. Let that sink in. How many of you actually use algebra in your everyday life? I can tell you I don't. But something that we all deal with are our finances. So we have to know how to budget. Even if you don't understand budgeting, you have to use it. School never taught us budgeting, credit, taxes, investing, or even how to read a paycheck stub. And most parents couldn't pass the knowledge down because they didn't know how to do it either. Companies, they benefit when you're financially uneducated, which means debt, and that equals control. What I mean by that is the more you're in debt, the more your job gets to control you because you can't afford to walk away from your job. You can't risk not showing up to your shift because at the beginning of the month, in the middle, or at the end of the month, the debt bill is still going to be there. Here's a truth moment for you. Financial ignorance is profitable for everyone except you. To move forward, you have to acknowledge the gap. Give yourself grace. Don't be worried about it. Give yourself grace. But what I need you to do is, I need you to take responsibility from here moving forward. If you don't understand money, money will always control you. Financial literacy is simply your ability to understand, manage, and make decisions about your money. It includes budgeting, savings, credit and debt, investing, taxes, retirement, risk protection, which basically involves insurance and emergency funds, and then long-term planning. If you don't know how to play the money game, you're always going to be a pawn. Write down which of these 7 areas you feel like you're the weakest in, and I would suggest you start learning about that area first, because honestly, that's where you need to start at. And if you want me to put out a more detailed video on a specific topic, one of those 7, just drop a comment in the comment section and I'll definitely make sure I get to that. If you struggle with money, it's not just numbers, it's trauma, habits, mindset. Most people struggle for one reason or another, but many people struggle for multiple reasons. Reasons like a lack of exposure. Most people, they never saw wealth building up close. Reasons like bad money mindsets. Mindsets like, I'm not good with money. And those mindsets or those thoughts, they end up becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. Fear and avoidance. Basically, shame makes people avoid their bank account to the point they won't even open up an app. Reasons like lifestyle inflation. As your income increases, so does your expenses. And then reasons like living to paycheck. And to me, this is one of the biggest issues because so many people fall into this area when they're making 6 figures. To beat this or to overcome this, a mental shift is required. Something like money, basically, the thought becomes money is a mirror. It reflects your habits, not your worth. You got to forgive yourself for past mistakes. You weren't taught this, but you can learn it now. Every wealthy person mastered these 5 things. They mastered budgeting. They knew where every dollar was going. They used the zero-based budget method, and then they tracked their money weekly, and they stayed consistent. They also mastered and knew debt awareness. You got to know how much you owe, and you got to know who you owe it to. Know your interest rates because most credit card companies, they're taxing you with 25% and above in interest. Then I would choose either the debt snowball or avalanche method to pay off debts because that's what most people have done. What they've also mastered is income growth. You got to ask for a raise, and you don't know if it's possible if you never ask. The worst thing that could happen is you don't get it, but likely your boss is going to tell you what you need to do to get it moving forward. So now you walk away with the information and knowledge on how to get that raise. What they also did was they started a side hustle. Most people, they start 1 or 2 side hustles just to bring in extra money to earn more. What they also do is they upskill. They grow their value by learning more. The next thing is you got to start saving. You got to start a savings and an emergency fund. Start with something small like $1,000. And if that's too much, it's cool. Just get there with little benchmarks. Next, I need you to look out further. And that's where you're going 3 to 6 months of living expenses that you need to save up. When you get to this point, I can promise you, you're going to have a different level of confidence and comfortability because you're not going to be stressed or worried. Make sure you automate your payments going into your savings. Doing this, it makes it so much easier and stress-free. What they also learned was credit and long-term thinking. You got to monitor your credit reports. Credit's a big deal, and most people don't care about it until it's needed. And if you haven't paid attention to it or managed it, well, you're likely going to end up with a high interest rate, or even worse, you might be told no. What they also do, and what I would tell you to do also, is pay on time every single time. So many people operate in the gray area, and the gray area being they're paying their bills in the grace period. When you have that 5 to 10 or 15-day period where you won't basically get in trouble, you got to stop doing that. Pay your bills on time and build some discipline. They also learn how credit impacts borrowing power. Credit is a powerful tool if you're using it properly, but you have to know how to use it and how to manage it. What I would do is I would pick one of those pillars, those things that I just talked about, and master it over the next 30 days. Just one, and like I said, master it and you'll become an expert at it. It's not too late, but it can be if you keep waiting. Every day that you delay learning about money, you lose out on things like compound interest, investment growth, peace of mind. You don't have to become a financial genius. You just have to start. Let's say you were to pay off a $300 a month credit card. You now have an extra $3,600 a year. That money can be invested. It could be used for a savings, or you could put it into a business. That's actually how you build wealth quietly. Don't let this video be another feel-good moment with no follow-through. I need you to take these 3 steps today. Get clear on your finances. Audit your income, your expenses, and your debts. Use an app or a spreadsheet. Next, choose your learning path. Read one book, take one course, or follow one creator like this channel and commit for 30 days. Next, automate one good habit. Whether it's saving $20 a week or paying off a card, make it automated. You weren't given the tools, but you now have access. You weren't born wealthy, but you can become financially free. The moment you learn financial literacy is the moment you stop surviving and start designing your life. If this video hit home for you, drop a comment that says, "I'm choosing financial freedom," and hit that subscribe button, because every week I'll be teaching you how to unlock your untapped potential. So like I always say, let's grow, let's learn, let's take back our power starting today. Later.